Wait, this is very weird. Oh, there we go. Okay, I could see myself in the other screen. We close that. Welcome. It is January of 2026. Time has gone. We have Terry with us today and Ellie. Welcome. So this is the Code Review Weekly Workshop. Uh, the essence of this was to talk about code review. Typically, folks will bring topics in where we will pair on reviews. Um, I have a few things from me, but feel free to add your topic as we go, participate the way you want. The first thing is actually, I was thinking about it toward the end of last year and talking with folks was like, I really want more people to attend this meeting. I think typically it's like a handful of folks, but I think the discoverability of this, it's maybe a little bit low where people who have been here for a while doesn't really check the team meeting calendar. Um, Maybe missing it. I'm not too sure. Um, what's your thoughts on it?
I found the same thing with the backend pair. I'm sorry, I was moving stuff around the thing because I realized that I thought that I actually thought this meeting wasn't happening because when I came into it, it said November 20th, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not happening.
Oh,
The template, I
yeah,
think,
let's.
I think if we took the template and made it say template instead of date, maybe that just for, but I'm not going to change it because y'all come to this meeting more than I do.
No,
Um,
that's okay. Hold on. Let me do this.
so I think it's hard to float stuff up to people, but what I would suggest is at least as a start, adding it to the loop as an event. Have you ever done that?
Oh no,
That's
that's a
one
great.
thing that we've started to do that for the TMAG that I run. We add, I mean, it's a little bit extra legwork, but hopefully you could do a recurring one. But I feel like it's helped with
Mhm.
attendance. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
then you could do auto posts in the development channel. Like it's every week at the same time.
It is.
And I know we have our own channel, but I feel like, I don't know, it's really hard to get people's attention.
Yeah, so I find I think it's mostly like folks who's been here for a while and they never really joined and they just don't check that calendar and this is just off to the side. Um what's his name? Cause and when he posts about the recording, sometimes on Slack he cross shared it in development. We started doing that and to get some and I also was just like talking to people about it and those sort of thing, I think will help as well. I think it's just like I am specifically looking for that set of people. Like folks who's been here doesn't even know this exists. And they definitely have
Yeah.
thoughts on the topics here. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I would say you can set up like a recurring post in a channel and maybe I will see if I can figure out how to, because I think I can just post events in the loop, but another option too is you could do a one-time uh oh, what is it called? The weekly thing where it's like while you're iterating, add something to while you're
Oh,
iterating.
oh,
People might,
the
yeah. The anyone can add that stuff. But use
um,
Duo to help you write it up because I'm lazy and I don't like writing. Um,
that's very fair.
I think maybe not this week, but it might be cool to write something up and be like, hey, this is for everyone that does code reviews, front end, back end
Hmm.
database. Come join us. Bring your problems, bring your wants,
Bring
bring
your
your
thoughts.
stories. I don't
No,
know. But yeah, I mean, I'm
exactly.
with you. I feel like when like There's no front end. There's front end maintainer meetings. I've heard of this. I don't know if there are, but there's no back end or database
Really,
ones. Like,
I don't go to, is there
if there
here?
are, then I don't know. Because
I don't,
when I joined the database maintainers, it was like add yourself to the monthly meeting of maintainers, and I'm like, well, I want to be added, and they're like, there isn't one. I'm like, well, then who has one? Um, mm. Maybe it's just so used to being like async and having I don't know, but I feel you. I feel like the same thing with the
I,
donut chats. Like I always get paired with new people because it's in the onboarding.
yeah, it's like folks join and folks is like, oh, got busy, and like they do it a couple times
Hmm.
and they got busy. They just, yeah. The it's really interesting you mentioned the maintainer because I actually do feel like it may be beneficial to have a slot where just like the front end development meeting, the department meeting hasn't been very popular as far as I know for a while.
Hmm.
Um, I personally stopped. It's my commitment to make that meeting
The
this year.
pairing
One,
meeting,
no, there's a front end department meeting.
there is?
There is.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So it used to be like where like the big ideas and sort of like it was really well attended, I was told before my time actually. But when I first
Hmm.
joined, I actually went there when I was stuck. I just went there and asked questions and people will help because I don't know
Yeah.
anybody, right? So I was like, oh, I need help. Like I made connections through there anyway. So, but I think yeah, because I think the reason I brought it up is just like I think there is definitely more amount of code to be reviewed right now, more than before because of
Oh, you want
Dual.
to talk about it?
So it
It feels like a
definitely
lot more daunting right now because then I'm
yeah,
like, who has reviewed this code? Like, am
and
I?
who actually offered it? Like who has put their
Yeah,
eyeballs
yeah,
on it? So that's
yeah,
one. And B, I think it's because we're bigger, like
yeah,
stretched out, like especially AI.
yeah,
It's in the stage. I would like to know what's happening outside
yeah,
Create even. So.
yeah.
Okay. We'll try those two and see and iterate on that. And but I just yeah, it's my New Year
Well,
resolution.
here's my first question, and I'm just a
Yeah.
lurker. This is my
Oh
first
no, no.
one of these, but you guys said there's a lot of code to review. How? So a little bit about my role. I am building out the new corporate AI security team. So my question is going to be AI related. Oh, how often are you guys using AI, whether that's Duo or another tool, to help get through all of those code reviews that are just sitting in the backlog? So Terry,
Yeah.
you're saying like there's so much code to go through. Is AI playing any part of that, of either reviewing the code, triaging it, helping expedite, like, okay, these are the higher priority ones, or these carry more risks, or we did the
Yeah.
basic linting for you already, and now all you have to do is do the delta?
Yeah. Yeah. No, let me try to answer. I think there's a couple things and Terry can like give her thoughts. Dual is enabled on all MRs by default, the dual code reviewer specifically. So when you open an MR, um, that the dual code reviewer get ping automatically. This is one of the topic we talked about last year. I do feel like that dual is one of the weakest dual because rarely it finds anything what I will say valuable in the air quote. To answer, to go back a little bit, where the comments about there's so much code, I actually think there's so much code because folks are leveraging Duo while they're implementing. I
Mm.
personally know I have written code in the last year, like backend code, Ruby code, that I wouldn't be able to do without it. Like Duo is kind of like a pairing partner for me in those cases. Or there's just like things I know how to do, but it will just take me very long to type it out. Like I'm a front-end engineer. I can tell you I don't think I have written just tests from scratch for a month now. Like it's just like it will generate things and I will because I know it really well. So it's really fast to actually change it. So that's how I use it when implementing. So I know there's naturally more code because folks are able to do more. And during reviewing, once again, the reviewer is not as useful as I want it to be. I have some ideas that I think we can like make it better. We talk about it last year. We can revisit that as well. But what I found personally very useful is to understand the changes, especially if it's because we review MRs across domain, even from community contributor. So sometimes you're just like you're jumped in right in the middle of everything. You don't really understand where it is, and then also it's really helpful to search for existing references. Oh, I'm reading a function that I'm pretty sure should eat this because this is something we do over and over again. But I don't really know where it is in the code base, especially if it's not in the feature that I touch very often. I find it to be really helpful. And sometimes it's just like, oh, I have an inkling reading this code. I feel it about this way. And I think there's an internet article somewhere that it will help. With all of that in mind, what I find as a reviewer is I have less question back to the author clarifying. Because I could talk with Duo a little bit or Cloud, in any case possible, to understand the questions. Like I treat that as the author. Like, hey, what do you think about this? So those are the way I use it. But like the actual review process is still my process. I just incorporate it, I think, as a tool, basically.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Terry, anything that you want to add from your side or from the back end engineering?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the reviewers, it's just there's too much. If we weren't in a monolith, it might be better. I don't know. It has too much to I don't know. I think
much
I just wish it.
context. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just I do read the review notes from Duo. What I would love is for the author to have left something on each of them, either like a check mark or like a hey, this is not needed, because then I don't have to review them, or maybe know as much. At least someone has looked at them that is understanding the code. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the reviewer, I wish it was like more of an orchestrator that could be like, oh, this has front end changes. Let me have this like specialized front end reviewer. Or this is adding database indexes. Like our database review docs are so large that like I have to go look at them almost every time I review code. And I have to go find the specific one that's for what is being added, because there's so much in there. And
And it's easier if it was just pulled for you and be like, hey, here it is. I did the quick analysis.
even having it pulled would be good. Otherwise, I have to go look at it because I can't rely on tribal knowledge. Things change, recommendations change, and those recommendations, while they do get communicated out, there's like 2,000 people that work here, plus or minus, I don't know. And then it's really easy to miss stuff. There's 4,000 Slack messages. There's multiple ways that things get sent out. It's very easy to miss a change in process or in the recommendations for different like types of code changes. So I think it's helping, but also I find sometimes that the generated code, it tends to be a little bit wordy, and honestly, I'm not a huge fan of comments in code. Just my preference. I don't want to read a comment that is like telling me what the code is doing.
Fair enough. And no, that's fair. I asked because I've been working with the CIO's office. I know it's only like day 5 for me, but I've met with them so many times this week around what tools are our employees and our developers using to help be more productive. And I like what you guys both brought up around that pair programming. We're evaluating the right pair programming solutions to enable, but there's also I see like opportunities for MCP servers to that will tie into Terry the documents you're talking about, and it will say in give it some context, or Chad, what you were talking about earlier around having it understand what it's changing. So it's not just like a code blob of a function, it understands the application as a whole. There's opportunities to get these these AI tools smarter and give them more context, but more focused context rather than generic. So I'm gonna be poking around here or there. I have to drop in a second for another meeting, but I'm gonna try to make some of these because I'm trying to figure out ways that you guys need AI tools to work, so I can plan on, okay, this is how we're going to do it securely, and then CIO go implement. But I think some of the examples you guys brought up to just now are like key ones that we should be able to do. Like if it's mentioning a certain type of database, we should easily be able to pull the database document from our repository and provide that as a resource link inside of the MR. We should be able to easily pull the README file from the application and give it that context before it does its comments on the MR of this is the application, this is what it does, instead of just, I just see a simple function that's adding one item to this list, but you're forgetting that list is like the most critical component of the entire application, and adding one more item does an overflow. But random thoughts. Thank you so much for including me today. I'm gonna drop, but like I hope to see you guys in the future. And if you have any other questions, feel free to DM me. I'm always on Slack.
Sounds good. I did including two links. We talked about the dual code reviewer specifically before. I think one of the links including the actual code of the custom instructions. I have issue actually open to add front-end specific instructions because we just have nothing in there. So that's
Awesome.
something in case I wondering. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, folks. I was
Is it?
watching I was watching the conversation as it was added to the Google Doc.
I can.
That does look interesting.
Yeah. Is there a specific thing that you want to like you have thoughts on or?
I was curious more on or sorry, less on adding specific instructions to Duo, the code review, and more on the sort of agents skills approach that we've seen evolving a lot recently. Because even if we went in and added this, like, do this for every front end situation, do this for every back end situation, it's still, I mean, it's better than the current one size fits all approach, but it's just a refinement of the one size fits all approach. Whereas what I personally always wish whenever I see a review is like, oh, if I could have said in this specific repository or in this specific group, when you're reviewing, say, Python code, that's what we work with most in professional services, you should be targeting Python 3.10 at least. Like, don't give me Python 3.6 or earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is definitely all of the comments I have are for GitLab. I want them for the GitLab MR. It's like I would like to customize it. And I almost feel like you need this like nested folder structure where you're like, okay, for front end, here's a few agent instruction files that could be brought into the reviewer that says, oh, here's like a smaller subset of things. Because otherwise, I feel like these things, they're toddlers. They get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my comment about databases. Like, I don't want to feed the thing the whole set of database instructions. It's like 10 pages long. I want it to be smart enough to be like, oh, what's being added? Oh, here's like a very small subset of rules to give a very focused review. That's helpful to me. So that I don't have to remember all the rules. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a week this week where like I merged an MR that I reviewed, I turned a feature flag on, and I had an authored MR, and all three of them got referenced in an incident, and it was a very bad day for me.
Oh.
That was yesterday, so I'm like, cool. I don't think any of this would have helped, but the index thing is something that I merged something that got caused an incident for some index that I missed something in the review. But now we'll miss it again.
I'll take a step back and then I think both of you wasn't here when I brought why this was like an idea last year. So I read this article. I'm going to share my screen and I will include the link as well. This is a open source maintainer. Where do I put? I'll put this. I'll put it just below here. It's like one of the links in here. So this is the open source maintainer. What they saw happening is with the AI tools become more popular, they're getting all these PRs, this is GitHub, to their repository contributing. And it's getting to the point, and then GitHub Copilot code review, I think, was being enabled on the repository. So the Copilot code review start to leave comments, and they become so noisy. They request it to be turned off because you have a PR that's already probably 80% generated by an AI, and then there's like 20 comments from another AI that's like just noisy. So this document their journey of tuning it down. So this is not to like probably to tune to like the say like we're here, we want it to go here, and it's not going there. It's kind of just like getting it to like the middle ground where it's less noisy and we trust it more. I think fundamentally, if you ask any engineers here at GitLab about the dual code reviewer, we almost it's like has this ingrained trust issue now because we're like, oh, you're just not helpful. We're just going to resolve, right? But sometimes there is something useful there and we will miss it because of it. So this is basically how do we cut down the noise so it doesn't do the thing that's repeatedly does. For example, front end that's just like very, very strict, no check. Like you were not able to get to this code before if this thing's already null. But if you comment that like 5 times, those are noise. So this is basically what they did. And then like it's not a very long instructions. There are different parts as well. And this is kind of the thing I was just like looking at. Like it could be broken down to files, definitely, eventually. But like we can just start with 3 things. I think it will just be helpful already. So I actually got to the link of where the instructions of the MR dual code review specifically is. And Doug, who had been like already like there is things that people have added here. For example, localization. There is a specific thing that was added by someone on the localization team. Anyway, so this is oh right here. This actually came from a code like a review. I think MRI was authored where we don't want a sentence to be split essentially for translation because the translator will see 2 broken sentences. But sometimes in Ruby, you can inherit a subject to be used in the English sentence. But that's code, not human languages. And this is exactly to flag that. That's why it was added there. It's like a small examples of it. But anyways, I just want to add the context.
Is that the review? Yeah, I added something in there. I don't feel like it follows all this stuff because I added something in there that was like, stop leaving comments everywhere. And if you see leaving comments everywhere, leave a comment to be like, remove these comments. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually listening because I still get MRs that have like comments everywhere. And I know that people aren't writing them. Like no one's gonna sit there and write that many. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are people who like writing comments. I just feel like I haven't seen that behavior before now. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. I needed to stop.
Oh,
I mean,
I reviewed something yesterday. That was the first thing I wrote. I was like, can we just remove it? It says like, this is a computer property for reactivity. I was like, yes, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Andrew.
I was going to say I'm able to share an image of one particular one that just gets me every time. I'll share it in the document. Maybe. That's
Yes. The nulls. Nulls. The nulls. The undefined. I understand. It's a tricky business. Yeah, and then like I said, it will comment the same thing 5 times because the MR has it. And I just but going back to what Terry was saying that there was a period of time last year we were talking about chat rules in this meeting, specifically like sort of like the chat rules for the duals agent you use while implementing in your IDEs. And I told Doug, I basically use that MD file as a therapy. So if I get frustrated with AI on something, I go to that file in the hope that if I write it down, I will not do it again. And it just like it became a very long file. That file is it's almost a screen long right now because I just keep asking it to not do things, and like it will not do that thing for a while, or it had never done it. All of a sudden, it starts doing something. I'm like, but why? Like we know this.
Trav, do you ever interact with 3-year-olds? I'm not kidding. Because this is what it feels like to me, where you're like, don't do this thing. And it's like hopefully today's the day that they decide to listen to you. My kid's now 4, also don't listen to me. I feel like 5, I need these things to be like 5+. But right now everything feels like we're in this like toddler land where it's kind of like you have to talk the right way. But I repeatedly have issues where I'm like, don't do this thing, and it will for a few of the chat back and forths, and then it'll revert back to doing whatever.
Yeah.
And then I have to be like, why did you do that? I asked you not to. And it's like, I'm so sorry. I don't understand. I don't understand what's being sent back and forth to have it like lose that context of the like instruction. It's almost like you have to tell it, keep this at the top of the context window for this whole chat so that you don't forget about
And then so you
it.
don't forget about it. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. It's
Like
very
my whole thing
confusing.
about this is actually I've seen how useful it could be.
Mhm.
There is, I think there's a past recording at this exact meeting. I talked about how there's like 1 week, there's 2 reviews I've done, there's 2 points I've caught. I would have not done it myself without Duel. It was because that like back and forth prompting. I was like, no, I think there's something here. And then eventually it would have been a bug eventually, but it was caught by Duel. But it was caught like if Duel like I know it's a lot for Duel to come to that conclusion immediately after the MR is free because there's a lot of context it needs to be. But I think I'm frustrated because I know it could be useful. That's why I'm particularly yeah. So I'm one thing I want to keep pushing is that file and add more things specifically to it. So sorry, what's your role, Andrew, here? What is PSC?
Professional services.
Professional service. Okay. I see. Yeah. So what's your interaction with code review in general on a day-to-day basis?
So we maintain supplementary tools for GitLab for
Oh, I see.
enablement. So things like Congregate and Evaluate, which are used during migrations.
Oh,
So Evaluate, for example, looks at the number of users, projects, different artifact types, the artifact sizes, whether they're over the thresholds that GitLab allows, etc.,
yeah.
and looks for problems within the Git file systems for each project. So when you get to a migration, you usually know in advance if you're going to run into any problems and which ones to watch out for. And then Congregate does all of or tries to do all of the migration parts that don't happen automatically in direct transfer.
Yeah.
So like the container image migration, it does that in parallel. Whereas I think the default container registry migration is serial. And then there's a few other bits like Git submodules, for example. If you
Oh,
migrate a repository and the Git submodules are all pointing at the old repository, that can be a bit of a pain to go in and manually update if you've got like
yeah.
10,000 projects to do that for. So there's all sorts of little bits like that that our tooling helps with.
Those are the things I just think, oh, it happens. Do you get
I used to
do you
think
get
this.
do you get community contributions in those repository?
They
I,
do in those professional services ones because I get pinged on them and I'm like, what, who does it have to go to? Because as a merge request coach, you get pinged on anything.
Yeah,
I don't know about the
recently-
ones you're in, but I know I've seen some that's like it's in professional services. And I'm like, hopefully someone hopefully I can find someone else to deal with this because I can't review
there's
it.
so I became MR coach last like December or November, like very late last year. And the first few triage I did, for some reason, were all the same repository that I had no idea about that existing. So the first time I went to the repository, I saw all the MRs and I was like, okay, who has been reviewing and merging things here? Who are the maintainers? So I got a little hot list. And then the next 5 days, I just keep pinging those people because I was like, I think well, they're like it's like a I think it's a language server or something like that. I have no idea what it is, but yeah, MR Coach is another very fun thing.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's a bit like we don't have. I think we've only got like 4 dedicated engineering resources in professional service,
Uh,
and everyone else is basically best effort fixes for things that we use day to day in our jobs. And it's usually I run into this specific situation with customer. We don't have anything that does that
hmm,
extensively.
here's something. Yeah. Um, we get out on the product sites as well. Folks will be like I'm in source code, so it's one of the areas you just see. And folks will be like, oh, this thing does this. Like, I would like to, like, one recent example is they want to open the PDF in the native browser. Because our PDF viewers are pretty basic, the features it supports. And if you have a button just to open it in the browser supports a lot more.
Mhm.
So they're like, we would like to add the button that does this because they just like they don't want to download the file every single time to view it. I was like, that's fair. And now we have a button. And since then, I think I've referred this button at least twice to other people about the PDF issue. I was like, have you tried this button that does this? So yeah, I find joining here, the community contribution and reviewing code that's outside my team are all new to me and definitely it's yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next thing. It's like a little thing that I want to share. It's code review related, and it sadly no longer works. But Matt reached out to me on Slack this week to share this. There's a thing that called I think it's called GitHub Selfie, but basically it's just like your front camera. You can record a little GIF include it in your PR or MR reviews to like, do you think this is Matt who's from a job in 2014? I did check. It's even the GitHub version is not working, and I would love to have a GitHub version. But here's a fun example. So there's 2 engineers who work on swapping user identities, and that's the GIF they included. It's like, and they had done a few more here as well. And there's like refactor payment flows. And then folks can include like sort of like gifts for their approval as well. I find the reason these are a little silly fun thing matters to me is I think in this day and age, you sometimes fail to remember there's a human on the other side of the screen you're interacting with. Uh, that doesn't say you're absolutely right all the time, but so anyway, just wanted to share. But yeah, very fun stuff if you wanna give it a go. The last thing I wanted to check was a few things that we kind of started last year and didn't really like we were like ongoing about it. So one of the things we already talked about was like do a code reviewer thing was one of the things I brought in later last year. We also done a few changes for it. We started updating the, this is in a monolith, so like Andrew may not see, but there is a message from DangerBot that summarizes a few things, and then there's like different warnings in there. It's getting noisy and noisier, and where the important informations are getting buried. Things like there's a thing called multi-vision compatibility, so front end and back end changes if they change the same area, need to be coordinated changes so it doesn't create breaking changes. And you will see, say, for example, the pipeline broke that day on master. Before, it would just have this giant long list of jobs that's failed before. And then this little message of the importance that's about the multi-version compatibility will be like nested inside, like this giant message with other things. And it's also how you get a reviewer roulette. Like it's the same comments. That comment get updated each time you run danger. So we started sort of just to clean up a little bit. So now when the pipeline failed, it actually collapsed it. It's a collapsible now. It's small things, but we were celebrating them. So that's what we
Those
did.
are the ones that are amazing.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, it was just like we were like, oh, what can we, like, we had so many ideas, and then we were like, we're gonna start with like some of the ones that we like, for example, they're duplicating messages about reviews. So the reviewer will already generate a table of all the reviewer, but then in underneath are text about you should get a documentation review. Here's how you get them. And I was like, this is the same message you get every single time. And it takes up, if this thing is like this big, you will read everything. But if it's this big, you don't. Right? So
I almost wish it would be like, instead of being a message, being like something that has like actions that the user has to be like, I addressed this, check box, something where the user has, I don't know. But yeah, it is too long.
yeah,
Like the database has things that are like very important, and I find often that they are missed. Like there's one
yeah,
in there where if the file name is too old, like we can't merge database migrations with like a early December file name, because what happens when people do upgrades is it can like insert itself way higher in the migration stack than it should be, and it has caused issues in the past.
I've experienced
But
person, not
yes,
wow.
I have not, but I feel like once you get burned by something, you're like never again. And so those kind of things, it's easy to miss though. I mean, that thing, I have to look at it when I review stuff and be like, what was in here? Was it addressed? The changelog is never added. But as a maintainer, you can add it. So I normally don't send it back for that unless I'm sending back other stuff, because I feel like that's just, I don't know. It's like, I don't mean, I will just know it and be like, I'm adding a changelog, but it should have had.
is there
What
a
is that?
I have interest on that. Is there a agreed standardization on how the migrations should be written? Because I'm aware of
There should
in
be. There's a ton of documentation. There's a lot of methods and a lot of rules. I feel like there's so many rules that there really shouldn't be, in terms of general schema changes, there should not be a great variation in how they are done. Now, if you're talking like backfills, those vary more.
yeah, the reason I ask is there's a I'm not sure how well I imagine it's known of, but whether the mechanism behind it is another matter. Um, there's the upgrade path toolkit that support wrote, and the migrations. Uh, there's a parser for the background migrations within that gives you an estimate of how
Mm.
many migrations will need to run as part of an upgrade, and that relies on the migrations being in a particular format.
Oh.
And most of the time,
There should be, but I don't know.
most
I
of the time that
mean,
works.
yeah.
But usually you just find that the some will be missed. And so when you get on to in MySpace doing an upgrade, you're like, oh yeah, this will be fine. There's not that many background migrations to run for this. So it'll be yeah, plain simple.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. And I feel like that's like that like nightmare position you're in if you're like especially consulting with a customer, is to be like, this is what it is, and to be wrong. I get that, but I feel like if there are some like additional things that need to be noted to like help up, upgrades, things like that, that should be added to our docs or brought up to database frameworks team. They own, well, I feel like everybody owns the database migration process, but like that team feels like the one that's like driving a lot of it. I mean, anyone can open up a change to add things. But yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, schema migrations are like pretty regimented. The batch background migrations, I see a lot more variability in how they're implemented. And it will be interesting to know. I know that that is a like huge pain point for folks is database migration stability during upgrades. And there are actively people working on it, but I don't work on that team. So, but just know that all the people reviewing stuff, where I'm doing, you know, I feel like everybody's doing their best, like, because nobody wants to break anything for anybody. Oof. These some
I suppose
details though. I mean, like database frameworks, I would say that G database frameworks channel is a good one to like, if you want to start a discussion with an MR, just even a Slack, that'd be a good spot to ask about it. Because I feel like I don't ever talk to people that do those things. This is the first time I've ever met someone from this team. So, and it's good. Yeah. I like having, I mean, I don't like having my only interaction with customers be when they're like having problems, but that tends to be what happens for me. I don't know about you, Chow, if you ever get brought into it, but it's always like it's a bug and I'm trying to fix it, and it's never anything other than that, from my side.
I think thankfully in my case, by the time we get to it, usually it's passed through support, through customer success, and then we're getting the refined version.
Yeah.
I never really thought about professional service. Okay, yes, that is yeah, wait. I actually find here, shockingly, the bug reports and stuff like that that we get are maybe it's because it's like either reported by a team member or a contributor, we're a community member that really cares about it. So they will work with you to get to the reproducible stats. And for front end engineers, it's very crucial. What browser? You know, like where did you come from? Did you refresh the page? What error? You know, like so like getting those are
Most of mine
extremely.
is like I need an SOS, I need Sidekick logs, I need logs to look through to try to figure out what
Oh,
happened. And it's much more
yeah.
difficult to pull data out of that, especially since we're like not supposed to feed it back into AI to help us like churn through things. So a lot of times I'm like, here's how my JSON is structured. Give me JQ things so I can start like plucking stuff out to look through these logs.
Oh, like the
Otherwise, I'm
yeah,
scanning through JSON.
yourself. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if
it
it'd be of
has
interest.
helped, but I'm sorry, what?
I'm just going to say, I don't know if it'd be of interest, but I know that within professional services, a couple of people have worked on MCP for SOS and GitLab
Oh,
SOS.
I want that. Share it. Because right now
MCP.
I have to have the folder open and I'm like, okay, let's just start chuffing through the logs that I know are the ones I need to see, but it's not easy. And there are times where I'm like, I can't find anything. It's never feeling good though, because I like to get to the resolution with the customer. We have either a bug ticket that comes out of it or like a configuration change that they need to make.
Yeah.
And it's even worse with dedicated because I have no access to logs. I don't know.
I think
They
we,
have access, but they don't just have
but
access. They have
dedicated
to get
have access.
yes, but they have to get like it's not as simple as going to
Yeah,
Kibana.
I was told that as
But the
well.
best
'Cause
I've gotten is like a screen share while we look at logs together. And for me, I don't work well in that format. I kind of like to be by
yeah.
myself in my little closet and look through stuff and then come back to people rather than like do it one on one in the screen share. Because then I'm like, I don't know. It's rough. It's really been tough to debug those issues.
There's definitely a lot of pressure when you're shoulder surfing compared to just
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah,
I'm
tell
like,
me more.
I don't wanna be a moron, but I need you to do all these things and look at these things. And I'm like, I don't really care, but it's easier for me to go digging when I have direct access. That's okay though.
um,
But I would love if you share those things. Those sound
yeah,
super,
okay,
super,
speaking
super
of
cool.
MCP, there's a place where all the MCP that's been developed documented somewhere. I use the GitLab one, not the official one, the other one, and I love it.
I don't know what the other one is. I use the GitLab one.
Okay, Terry, I will hook you up. I have a video of someone explaining it
No, I
step by
want the
step.
GitLab one to be better.
It's
I have used it
really
with like because it's hooked into search and I've been able to use it to help dig through things, but I feel like yeah, things need to be like there needs to be less less things and more like a cohesive spot. But
The
um
conversations I had on a coffee chat with someone from support was that we don't really have an awesome GitLab list. Like, when you get like awesome Python, awesome Go,
yeah.
awesome, like there's these lists, and it just lists a bunch of really interesting projects, resources, etc., that are specific to that domain. And we've got all these projects and things that people are doing all over GitLab in completely different departments, but we don't hear about them because they're outside of our divisions. Um,
Mm.
so I've at least within the CRO org, we've been talking about adding a awesome GitLab list, but it sounds like it's probably due with just having a GitLab org awesome GitLab list.
I feel like when I onboarded, this was like June 2024, there were some things similar, but not exactly to that degree. It was like a tool list, but I don't remember where did I come up with it. Like literally how I know about the other MCP server is because in Toronto, where I'm at, we do co-working. And I was like, what is that? That, that you got there? Can I have it? So, and I've been like telling people about this MP, like it's in cloud. I know we're supposed to use Duo. Like I use Duo first. Sometimes Duo doesn't satisfy my need, and I go to cloud with my MCP server asking the same question. Um, yeah, but no, I think that would be great. Like I think people doesn't know the value of the tool outside of their use case because other people. Oh my God, so sorry.
I don't hear it. Whatever it is beeping for you.
It's
No, I don't hear it. I think your mic is muting it.
really.
Noise
I
cancellation does
mean,
not.
yeah, I hear like some little like a little beep at the start of your talking and then it goes away and it's very quiet. I don't hear anything right now.
Oh my God, technology. Is it Zoom or mic?
I don't
My
know.
mic. Thank you, the people who build it. It is very annoying. It is fire alarm. Like I can't hear it because they want to make sure that
Yes.
we can hear it. I think it's maybe a good spot to wrap it up. So Andrew, if you ever, if there's more details on that, awesome GitLab list, that would be great. I'm gonna end the recording. Not recording, live